going on YouTube? Adam here. I'm with Tommy.
Hey guys.
Today we are going to be going over two separate things actually. The first would be entry hazards, and the second would be status moves.
These types of moves really give you an edge on your opponent and can frustrate them very much. That's why I love them.
Yeah. To start off right away, a great thing to have would be Fortress because it gets three of the entry hazards, being spikes, toxic spikes, and stealth rocks. Spikes, you can get 3 layers up, each of them doing more and more damage to Pokemon that are grounded.
You end up getting 25% at your third layer. It's pretty good.
Toxic spikes, you get 2 layers. Your first layer causes poison on entry, and 2 layers causes toxic on entry.
Yep. Badly, just so you guys know, there is a difference. Uh, the regular poison will only do 12% every single turn. Your badly poison, aka toxic, that will do 6% and then increasing an extra 6% every turn after. So you get 6%, then 12%, then 18%, which resets on switch in. So if you're against a sweeper team, you probably only want one layer spikes. If you're against a team that's going to stall you, you want both layers.
Next will be Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks does damage dependent on the entering Pokemon's type. So if you're weak to it, say 2 times weak like a fire type, you'll take, what is it, 12% damage?
25%. No, you take 12% if you are neutral to rock.
That's
If
right.
you're weak to rock, 2 times, 25%. If you're weak 4 times, like Volcarona, 50%. It can do massive damage depending on the opposing team.
Yeah. And then,
And
what are you saying?
just so you guys know, Stealth Rock is the only one that hits every single Pokemon, regardless of type. The only way you can get around it is abilities like good old Alex Zam.
Yeah, Magic Guard does that. Something to keep in mind if you're using Toxic Spikes, if they have a Poison type, every time a Poison type switches in on Toxic Spikes, the Toxic Spikes disappear.
Yep. Another way you could get all these entry hazards to disappear is through Rapid Spin.
Yeah, Rapid Spin is a really good move for removing hazards, obviously. It completely gets rid of everything off of your side of the field. Alternatively, you can use Defog, but be careful when you're using Defog because it also gets rid of your hazards.
Yeah, Defog wipes off every single hazard on the field, and it also gets rid of Light Screen and Reflect.
Yeah, that
So
is a good thing.
it actually does have some viability, like in doubles if you're really fearful of like a screen's Klefki, but it's not really the best since you're not really getting rid of hazards with it.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, there is another entry hazard, Sticky Web. It lowers anything that is not a flying type or levitating, lowers their speed by 1 stage, so they'll have 66% speed. It's one of the best moves in the game.
It slows down faster Pokemon so your slower mons can get ahead.
Yep.
Moving past entry hazards for a little bit, you have status moves. Rotom's obviously here because it gets 3 of the main ones, and then also gets Hex, which, if you don't know, Hex, if a Pokemon is statused, Hex does double damage.
Yep. Doesn't it bring it up to like 110 base power? Pretty sure.
130.
It's 65. Okay, yeah. 130 base power. I thought it was 55. Um, yeah. Hex is a ridiculous move. I think it's the strongest ghost type move when they're status.
Yeah, it's huge
So,
damage.
yeah, so on to the statuses themselves. Will-O-Wisp, it's your main way of getting burn, unless you are a Suicune, in which you use Scald. Burn, it's one of the most crippling statuses. It makes it so physical attacks do 50% damage.
Yeah,
So
it's
if you
very,
have
very brutal against physical attackers.
if you have a Pokemon that has 300 attack, if it's burned, it essentially has 150 attack. It's really significant, and it can turn a one-hit KO into a two-hit KO, or a two-hit KO into a four-hit KO.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
Um, Next will be
but
Thunderwave. Uh, Thunderwave is
th-
huge for speed control.
it
No.
also has a 25% chance to keep them from moving that turn.
Yeah, so that's why Thunderwave is kind of fun. Not only are they moving at half their speed, but there's a chance they're not going to move at all. So it can
I
get you
believe it's quarter speed.
to a quarter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's quarter speed.
Wow, something I didn't know.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Thunderwave. It's ridiculous if they have a team that it's based around speed and you can get them Thunderwaved, they lose most of their power. However, watch out if you're using this in doubles or if you're using this against a team that could potentially be singles trick room because it actually makes them get faster when trick room is up.
Yeah, and then Toxic we already covered. Obviously, you're racking up more and more damage every single turn. It's great for breaking walls.
Hmm. And if you want the other type of poison, then you got poison powder, but that's pretty bad.
Don't use
I,
poison powder, guys.
I don't advise it. All
Um,
right, on to Jirachi.
Now, Jirachi is not so much showing off status itself, but more what you can do with it. For those of you who don't know why Jirachi is so irritating, Saren Grace doubles Ironhead's chance to flinch. So you're, 60% chance to flinch on top of the chance that a paralysis will occur. So it becomes very difficult for your opponent to actually make their move.
Yep. And if they do make their move, a lot of times Jirachi's natural base 100 bulk will keep it alive. And even if you die, as long as you got a Thunder Wave off, you've already crippled something.
Yeah, and then you can see Jirachi also gets Stealth Rocks. If you want to have that as Stealth Rockers, that's pretty good.
Yep. In general, it's just a pretty good mon. Nice synergy.
Yeah. Okay, so our next status to cover is Sleep.
Yeah, sleep's one of those controversial things.
Um, Obviously, outside of anything that's not Smogon because their sleep cause just annoys me, but Dark Void is its only real use is in doubles because
Or
obviously,
triples.
or triples, yeah, because Dark Void you have your 80% accuracy, but it hits both targets while or all three in event triples, while Spore automatic or always hits, guarantees the sleep. So that's why Spore's a
It's
little
single
better in
target.
singles.
Yeah, it's sports single target. Dark Void's multi target, so that's why you see the disparity.
Yeah, and then we mentioned Sticky Web earlier. It lowers speed by one stage.
Yep. And then a way to like stop some things. Snatch is pretty cool.
Snatch, status moves, like Calm Minds, Swords Dances, Light Screen, Reflect. Snatch will
Yes.
activate and make it so that you're using that move instead of your opponent.
Yeah, it's just a fun move. Since we had Smear go up, we thought we may as well show you guys.
Yeah,
It doesn't really go with status, but
yeah,
you know.
we need something
It
to show off.
Yep. Uh so one of the things that's controversial about Spore is that if you outspeed the opponent, they'll only ever get to attack you like at least at their best interest, uh, one for one. But it could possibly be they get three moves in before you can even wake up. So if you're getting outsped, then most of the times you won't be able to react accordingly.
Yeah, and as you said that, did just occur to me. What sleep does is you are guaranteed that you have to stay asleep for one turn. So if your opponent is faster than you and they put you to sleep, that turn is your first turn. You could wake up the next turn.
But
But
if you're slower, then you're gonna have a turn where you know that you can't move.
um and then a max is 3 turns. So if 3 full turns have gone through that you're asleep, you automatically wake up the next turn. So that's
Yep.
something to keep in mind.
And there's another way to inflict sleep that isn't sleep powder. Adam, you want to show it off with Spiritomb?
Okay, so Spiritomb, Hypnosis is another way to put to sleep. Really low accuracy, but it's just something to keep in mind. You could use it.
If you pair it up with Gravity, then it's always going to hit, but
That's why,
that's very situational.
yeah, that's more of a doubles thing. But
Yep.
um, something
But
that sleep brings though, Nightmare and Dream Eater. Um,
they're more fun moves than anything.
yeah,
But I mean, Nightmare does that damage every single turn. It's not it's not really the best because once they wake up, it stops working.
yeah,
Dream Eater is actually a really interesting move, but only if you really use it on a psychic type will it actually be that good.
yeah.
Is a
It's
neutral Shadow Ball will be stronger than a uh, neutral Dream Eater, like off the Spiritomb. So most of the time, Dream Eater's only really going to be good on something like Espeon.
yeah, and then something else on here you see is Curse. Curse works as a status ailment only for ghosts. If you don't know it, you cut your HP and then you're doing damage to your opponent every single turn.
Yep. So if you have something that can lock them in, maybe Shadow Tag, then or Mean Look, those are all fun moves. You use Curse, then they take a quarter health every turn. It's pretty good at killing tanks and setup things, but it's not really the best because you lose half your HP.
Yeah.
All right, and Latios.
Okay.
Latios. Latios is pretty nice. It shows off that there's a Psycho Shift. I like Psycho Shift.
Psycho Shift's pretty cool. Yeah.
Whatever status you have, you give to the opponent and you lose it yourself.
Yeah. So say your opponent burns you, you use Psycho Shift. Now they're burned. And
And
unlike
you're
Will
not.
Wisp, which has 85 accuracy, Psycho Shift doesn't miss.
Yeah. And another great thing about Psycho Shift, you lose the status.
Yeah.
So if they Thunder Wave you, you can Psycho Shift and now they're paralyzed.
um.
Magic Coat can protect you from status and entry hazards. It'll send them right back to the opponent.
Yeah. It basically acts like the ability Magic Bounce for a turn. So if you don't say have an Espeon or a Mega Sableye, you use Magic Coat and the status moves are bounced right back. So that's a pretty good way of defending it.
And it does have positive priority, so it doesn't matter how fast you are. You just have to make nice predictions on that.
Yeah, and then we also already mentioned Defog. Latios is one of the Pokemon that gets it.
And then Swagger.
Swagger, the move that Smogon bans but works so well. Um, Swagger's on here mostly to show off Confusion as another status element. Confusion gives a chance for your opponent to hit themselves every single turn. And that's why Swagger is interesting because it raises their attack stat, which makes them do more damage to themselves.
Hmm.
Um, if you don't know what Confusion is specifically, it is a base 30 neutral hit to yourself every single turn.
It can actually be pretty devastating, especially on something that has low defenses. Using it against a Shuckle won't really make a difference, but if you use it on something like a Deoxys, it has potential to one hit or two hit KO itself.
It's, I don't know.
It's one of those moves that you can really annoy somebody off of, but confusion goes away if you switch out.
Yeah, there's also the chance they snap out of Confusion and now you've given your opponent +2. So it's a dangerous move to use. I mean, I don't see why it's banned personally, but
Yep. And just so you guys know, regular confuse rate is pretty good, but because it gives you 50% chance that they don't do anything and they hit themselves, but it's it it's not the same as swagger because they don't do increased damage themselves.
it's, I don't know.
And if you guys want to ask about flatter, flatter's really is it's basically a worse confuse ray unless you are using psych up on your team or you are in doubles and using it on yourself.
Yeah, Flatter raises special attack, which, confusion doesn't do extra damage, so you're actually just boosting a stat. So
Yep. And there's another status that we didn't talk about yet. Um, attract.
how about attract?
Yep. Attract is a really awesome move. Uh, it usually doesn't see like any competitive play, but I saw it in the FBL this year. It, if the opponent is a different gender, there's like a 50% chance that they'll be infatuated and not do anything.
Yeah,
But
so
by experience, attract does not seem like 50%. It seems like 80%. So,
yeah,
I
so
mean
yeah,
it's okay. You can't rely on it, but
more of a gimmick than anything.
yeah, if you guys are just trying to have fun, see how much hacks you can get, try and act like shuck hacks, you know. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned some. And if you guys have anything you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments. If you have any suggestions on the content or how we present the content, just let us know.
Aside from the comments, you can also follow us on Twitter and message us there. We see those as well. Uh, your suggestions are appreciated.
Yep. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you guys have a good day.
See you guys later.